Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the Avengers Issue 6 2023. Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking cover, really just showing all the Avengers just doing stuff. Now granted, we don't get this kind of big team up moment in here, but we do get them finishing off the Ashen Combine and the conclusion and kind of setup of a new kind of status quo that we'll get on going forward. And this is $4.99, but it also comes with a plus story of Firebird in the back. So it does make sense because you're kind of getting more. So just keep an eye out on that. I don't know what their pricing stuff is going for. Certain ones are more, certain ones aren't. And it all kind of depends what's going on. Just trying to keep you appraised of the situation. So, we had finished off, and now we start off in Earth orbit with the Impossible City, being like, no, what? Your bravery, the bravery of the Avengers shames me, but the Ashen Combine cannot be told no. Oh yeah? Just watch, as we then see the Avengers start going on more of an offensive and taking them down. Where Idle Alabasters pretty much like yield now. I'll scourge the flesh from your bones with pure metabolized warship. And then Thor pretty much just like is like, oh, so you weaponize that. And he's like, I never required warship. I'm a god who's never required that. And that is where he's able to do what he's doing. And granted, I really like the art style that we've got here. Thor just looks pretty awesome as we then shift over and he's like, I've only ever needed thunder. And that is just a powerful kind of page for it. As we then start seeing how the Avengers are able to deal with the Ashen Combine in their own kind of ways. Shift over to Toronto, where pretty much the City Smith is just gloating and everything, saying that it's pretty nice to see Tony's hand reaching out for freedom. It's a lovely touch that he's able to still surprise himself after all this time. And then Tony's pretty much running through his stuff. Okay, weapons, brute force is out, which means the plan is working. Boss, initialize experimental project flattery, sincerest form, keyword vision. Warning, density shifting capabilities are still in the early prototype stage. The damage to the Mark Nil will be considerable. Yeah, well, I only need it to work once. And then, of course, he's like, what are you saying in there? As we then see, is it like more criticism, begging for mercy? And then we see that Tony is working around to integrate density, phase shifting into his armor set, which is kind of fucking amazing. You were untouchable, City Smith. I couldn't get near you. But you just couldn't stay away, could you? Welcome to Earth, pal. We call this the rope-a-dope. As he just does an uppercut. And his armor is messed up now. It's like, damn, it comes at a cost. So it'll be interesting to see if that kind of ability that he has worked out translates into other Iron Man, like in the Iron Man series, because after he did it, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't really tried to mess around with that kind of stuff before with his armor sets. It's like, we'll have to see how this works out. We then get to Sydney with Wanda, which we haven't really done with in a while, and hers, since you're trying to balance it all, some of these seem a little bit more fleshed out than others. Tony's, Thor's a little bit. Wanda's like, oh, you bring the screaming dead against me. You haunt me with my own ghost, but it will take more than that, the dead. I didn't think about why you attacked Sydney, but then I remembered, Rookwood Cemetery, 1 million graves, 1 million souls to give you power. But if we were somewhere with very few corpses, and then she teleports into Antarctica, as we see penguins and stuff. What would be left of your power then? Nothing at all, as it turns out. It's like, okay. So, granted, it is smart on Wanda to pretty much be able to take him out like that and just kind of deal with him pretty well. It's just, I wish there was a little bit more to it with what was kind of going on, because these were some pretty interesting kind of threats, and I think maybe about one more issue to kind of flesh out the rest of the Avengers kind of like having their own kind of like little moments to take on the villains would be a little bit better. Though I like the end goal of her teleporting into a place where they wouldn't be able to utilize their powers like that. Now this one was pretty interesting when we switched to Helsinki and see Vision dealing with Meridian Diadem. Let's see. Variable density goes both ways, Meridian Diadem. I can make myself as insubstantial as smoke or as dense as plutonium. I had hoped to talk to you to make you see that you did not have to be like this. I am what I was created to be, nothing less. But you are a thing of wonder, Vision. Who created you? If synthetics like us can be said to have a Satan, it would be my father, Ultron. His code, poisonous and mad, lives on in me. He then starts ripping through her kind of snake things. And then he pretty much gives her a sample of it, pretty much putting himself in there and giving it to her. It's like, oh shit, that's not good. We shift over to Manila, and Lord Ennui's like, where'd she go? I've been going about this all wrong, Lord Ennui. Ah, there you are, Captain Marvel. Are you doing this again? My entropy field will simply disintegrate whatever you throw at me. This isn't for you, this is for me. Ignition. It's like, she takes a bus and pretty much, like, kickstarts herself into, like, her, like, powered up binary mode. I believe so. That's kind of at least reminiscent, which, by the way, is fucking great artwork right there. Just all the kind of power and everything radiating from her. You say you're an endless void. I say I'm power without limit. Let's see who flinches first. It's like, yeah, there we go. Let's see this. And then I love that we get back to Thor, and Idol Alabaster's like, what did you do? It was all you talked about. Worship this, worship that. How you would gain more and more worshippers, how their adulation gave you power. So I summoned my thunder and struck them all unconscious. It's like, yep. That's a good Thor plan right there. Answer me a question, Idol Alabaster. They cannot worship you in their sleep, can they? I thought not, as he pretty much starts going at her. It's like, yep, that's going to be a problem with you. We get back to Tony. I'm no artist. I've always loved engineering science, and that includes the sweet science as he's just boxing the shit out of the City Smith. Let me go, you Philistine! Only for a moment, City Smith. We're going all the way down as we see that his armor really can't take this, which I like having balance with this. As we see his armor kind of not being able to handle it, break it apart, and then he just fucking thunder cracks him into the pavement. It's like, boom. We get back to Wanda. Not that there's no graves for you to draw upon in Antarctica, but the Savage Land is on the other side of the continent. I don't know what you are, you poor sad thing, but take this for truth. I will help you. As she then pretty much utilizes cool, just like scarlet chains to like put the dead in a coffin. It's like, oh god. And I do like that she's like, I will help you. And it's like, yes, Wanda's had some crazy ass shit that she's gone through, and it is cool that she's like, I will help you. We turn back to Vision, and Meridian Diadem's like, what did you do to me? I exposed you to the most virulent code base ever known to synthetic life. Even one generation removed, my father's madness is hidden in me, among the ones and zeros. Were I human, I would say it is in my blood. I've been programmed to be every bit as cruel as you, Meridian Diadem, if not worse. The difference is, I refuse the purpose written in my code. Just as the organics refuse theirs, be it written in the stars, or the ACGTs of their own DNA. And it's kind of cool to see Vision talking about it like that. And it's like, yeah, that's important. We get back to Captain Marvel, just pretty much unloading energy into Lord Ennui. And they're like, so much energy, like consuming a star for the first time. I feel something. I feel everything. And Lord Ennui thanks her. Now we turn back to Sam and T'Challa. Impossible, isn't it? Not for the Avengers. Your masters are defeated. Now for you. Brace yourself, City. Munitions. Target invasive superstructure. Arm. Detonate. And T'Challa is able to detonate all this stuff that was around the Impossible City. And we see all this stuff kind of fly off, and then we see it kind of pretty much back to normal as it then screams. Was that the best idea? Please, Sam, if there is one thing the Black Panther has always known, it is the breaking of chains. City, are you okay? I am free. I am free! And it's like, yay! We then get to us shortly after, as we see that the Ash and Combine are now imprisoned in crystal-like things. And Vision's like, you copied my intangibility into your armor? I mean, it's a stealth suit, and walking through walls is pretty stealthy. It's like, yes! Holy shit, that is a that is probably one of the most Tony Stark things to explain that, but also make the most sense for it. So, the Combine were originally your prisoners? Yes, Carol. My heroic creators defeated them. It was after my creators disappeared that the Ashen Combine escaped and enslaved me. Wild. These heroes, were they anyone we know? I cannot say, Carol. The Combine stole my memories along with my free will. My freedom, the Avengers returned to me, but my memories still escape me. Well, you are your own being again, free of monsters and masters. What have you decided? Have you decided what it is you wish to be now? Yes. I've decided that I would like to be an Avenger. And that's really cool. I'm like, yay! Avengers? Anyone have a reason why not? So now we essentially have them having a floating city. That's an Avenger city. That's actually kind of cool. And it'll be interesting to see what they kind of do with that. Okay, okay. The Avengers in the Impossible City. I like the sound of that. Welcome to the job, city. We've got the whole world to look after, so let's get to work. And it'll be interesting to see how that changes up the dynamics and everything. So, I like that kind of ending. No real issues except with how certain ones were kind of shortchanged. Mainly Wanda's with the dead. And kind of Carol's with Lord Ennui. The way they won, I'm fine with. And totally worked with them trying to strategize out for it. That just seemed more kind of compact compared to the other ones. Then we get a letters page before we get to The Truth Is Out There, the little story that we get here. So we're in New Mexico, and someone's talking about how the desert can be quiet. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it can be lonely. That's why they're here. And then we see that somebody is praying in a church. And then this dude's like, please God, whatever I've done, forgive me. Need a hand? Who are you? You can call me Bonita Juarez. Seems like something's troubling you. I'm being punished by God. He's enlisted his angels to do what? They drop from the sky at night. Lights, bright enough to blind you. They swoop over my land, frighten my family, the animals. No one can sleep. My livestock grows ill. If it doesn't stop soon, angels of vengeance are a thing, but I wasn't so sure that was the issue here. Tell me where your land is, senor, and I'll take a look for myself. Then we see her shift over, and she's kind of looking at what's kind of going on with the disturbances. Firebird, we meant to call, but then we lost track of time. Captain Marvel, Captain America, what's the occasion? Our sensors picked up unusual electromagnetic readings in the area. We're thinking maybe it's a tribulation event. A what? Long story. What about you? Checking on a local tip. Might even be tied to those weird readings of yours. A local rancher's being terrorized by these lights. That all you know? Hang on. And then we see the lights come and go like, screw with them. It's like, what the hell? And then we see that they're kind of ringing things and kind of fly off. It's like, what the hell? Maybe their ears were burning, assuming they have ears. We thinking UFOs? I believe the term, the preferred term is UAPs. You're telling me there's a difference? Yeah, you really want to unpack that right now? It's all just the government not wanting us to say aliens out loud. Yeah. Whatever they are, they're moving north towards Roswell. So, Area 51, every alien's fave spot. Area 51's in Nevada. Roswell was the site of the Roswell incident in 1947. Now this is where it gets a little bit kind of weird. This doesn't seem very Sam-like to me. Can we hit the pause on the nerd history lesson for a second? It's like, I get it, trying to explain like the differences between Area 51 and the Roswell incident. I don't think Sam would try and like change from it that way. He'd be more on like, we need to figure out what's kind of going on for it. And then they're talking, there's electromagnetic anomalies. They're not just coming from those UAPs/UFOs. There's some other type of signal being beamed out. Like when he goes to here, it's like, okay, that's more the Sam that I know. Let me guess, it's coming from Roswell. Someone should put you in charge, Cap. Thanks, Cap. Maybe that's where the mothership is. Oh, joy. So they shift over, and we go to Roswell. And looks like they want something inside that place. I'll do a sweep, you guys cover me. Think our friends might have other plans. We don't want to harm you, but we will defend ourselves. Guys, wait a minute. I'm not sensing any aggression here. I think they're just curious about us. And then we see this little girl kind of pop up. She's like, she's right. They're only here because I called them. And then someone's like, Firebird's like, you did what? It's like, yeah? Tell me you're not responsible for all these rogue signals. I might have hacked into a telescope array and mirrored the radio waves. These glowy things showed up at my doorstep a few nights later. I had no idea what to do. It's like, yes, you must be careful when you do that kind of stuff. They might just need a nudge in the right direction. It's time to go home. Nicely done, Bonita. As she kind of like nudges them back home. And then we get the kind of reason why she was doing it. And Sam's like, why would you do that? Science fair project? My sister, Enos, went out to get groceries a few months ago and never came back. She was the only family I had. I've heard about alien abductions my whole life. I thought if I could just find the ones who took her. I'm sorry, and Barbara's like, I'm sorry, Mia. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. So you've just been camped out here by yourself? My sister would never give up on me. And I won't give up on her. What's your name, kid? Zoila Rodriguez. Tell you what, my place is 10 miles from here, and I've got a spare room. Why don't you come crash with me for a little while? As Firebird, and we see that the Avengers get on it. It's like, in the meantime, we'll put your sister's details in our database, start working all the angles, and we'll analyze the signal data between you and those flying light bulbs. They might have a message for you after all. Wow, I don't know what to say except thank you. And it's like, that's what heroes do. The desert can be quiet, and it can feel really lonely, but somehow it always reminds me that none of us is ever truly alone, as we see them kind of flying off. It's like, that's a kind of cute little story, and then we get pretty much set up for what's going to be next for the Avengers. As it says, the Avengers defend the world, but the world is beginning to look unrecognizable. What happened to Earth's mightiest heroes, and what has happened to the Vision? So, we'll kind of see what goes on there. I liked this arc. This really drew me in. I liked how all of the roster was portrayed. It didn't feel like it was incongruous with any of the other kind of series that I've read. I really like how Captain Marvel has been handled as the leader of the Avengers team. It's kind of refreshing what sometimes a new creative team, even on some kind of book, can just really hit with a character, because what I'd heard and seen of what was going on with Civil War II, I'm like, what the hell are they doing with Carol? And it's like, sometimes that happens with certain events, and you just have to kind of wait. And I'm just like, okay, Marvel, I like that we still deal with the kind of fallout of Civil War II, but it's interesting with her having Tony as her second in command, and that kind of relationship going on, and all their kind of relationships with this roster. And I liked seeing how each of them was able to present and take on the Ashen Combine. I don't mind old school Avengers threats when we get them and when they're utilized by creative teams and seeing how their take is on it. But I like that we got new ones. Now, granted, they are taken out at a certain kind of point. They could come back at a different kind of point, and I don't think they were done dirty here. Now, granted, some kind of portions of it with certain Avengers against certain Ashen Combine, I think were kind of shorter than I would have liked, but that's not that, like, that's a criticism that I can kind of, I'm all right with. It doesn't feel like they were completely crapped on, and I'm like, no, Wanda did what she needed to do. Captain Marvel did what she needed to do as well, and it worked out. And I'm really excited to see how the Impossible City works as an Avenger. The Avengers kind of working through like an orbital city going around, and where these kind of new villains will work. I do like seeing creative teams take kind of chances and create new villains. It's hard. I understand that because we've got some classic ones. I do like that we started off with the classic of Kang being the kind of one that kind of brought this kind of one together, and then setting off for new ones. So I like to see new ones, even if they don't always work out, because sometimes it just happens, and then another kind of creative team could just breathe new life into them. So I do like the Ashen Combine. I think that this worked out well here, and I can't wait to see what the Avengers will be doing next. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.